Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to begin by thanking the Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Howard Berman and the Africa and Global Health Subcommittee Chairman Donald Payne and my good friend Congresswoman Diana Watson. I'd also like to thank Congresswoman Yvette Clarke and Congressman Ed Royce for their constant leadership on African issues. This year, Mr. Speaker, 17 African nations are celebrating the 50th anniversary of their independence. 1960 was an important year for those former French, British, and Italian colonies and protectorates. The triumphant march of a series of hard-fought victories that led to independence started on January 1 with the nation of Cameroon, and it ended on November 28, 1960, with the nation of Mauritania securing its independence from France. The resolution I bring to the floor today will honor the sacrifice of the founding fathers of these African nations. Little did they know then that a proud and supportive U.S. of A. today would enter into our nation's permanent history this well-deserved tribute to the thousands of unsung men and women who gave their lives based on the simple dream of freedom and a desire to assert their self-determination over the life that only God could give them. We in the U.S. of A. know something about that freedom and that determination. Chief among these visionary African leaders are Amadou Ahidjo in Cameroon, Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, Patrice Lumumba in the Dominican Republic of the Congo, Leopold Senghor in Senegal, Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, Felix Houphouët-Boigny in Cote d'Ivoire, and Julius Nyerere in Tanzania. This resolution also commends the social, economic, and political progress being made by these nations, while acknowledging the associated challenges that many still face today. Many of these nations have become democracies and are striving to break the links of their past oppressions. Men and women of good faith work tirelessly to overcome the remnants of colonialism, neocolonialism, structural adjustments, internal and regional wars, and their own bureaucratic hurdles. They also face serious challenges beyond their control, which has been exacerbated by growing threats from the global financial crisis, climate change, and terrorism. During numerous challenges, many of the African nations we salute today are becoming economically, politically, and strategically important to the United States. Our nation simply cannot afford to take Africa for granted, nor can it afford to mistakenly see Africa as a desperate continent forever in need of charity from our nation. Africa's growing economic importance is reflected in an intensified effort by China, Russia, India, Iran, and other nations who seek to gain access to Africa's vast natural resources. Some say we may need Africa more than Africa needs us, It is clear that many African leaders are beginning to think the same way. Both sides are mistaken. We need each other. Now we need each other more than ever. It is time to solidify our economic and strategic partnership. I and others who support this resolution commend President Obama for his leadership in making our mutually beneficial partnership a reality by signing a binational commission agreement with South Africa, with Angola, and with Nigeria. We hope that the United States will soon adopt a similar strategic agreement with the entire Gulf of Guinea region. The White House has announced that President Obama will be hosting these 17 African heads of state and a group of younger emerging leaders within these nations at a celebration that will mark the 50th anniversary later this summer. And I'd like to take this opportunity to commend our President for calling this summit. It was long overdue. I hope that the invitation will be extended to other African nations as well. As Professor Paul Collier wrote in a recent article entitled "The Case for Investing in Africa," the continent is now growing much more rapidly than the OECD nations. It may be well on the cusp of a reversal of fortune, end of quote. It is time to revisit our relationship with the continent of Africa and to define a more comprehensive approach. I would encourage the administration to also establish a commission that will create a platform where human rights groups, the civil society, U.S. and African governments, financial institutions, the private sector, and the diaspora can formulate and implement a mutually beneficial and coordinated policy framework that advances democracy, economic growth, and prosperity in Africa. It's worth noting that the U.S. has already taken several steps that underline Africa's increasing importance. Our economy and its recovery are far more dependent on Africa than we have acknowledged to date, and so too is our national security. For these reasons, I urge you to vote for H.R. 1405, which celebrates the 50th anniversary of 17 African nations, recognizes that Africa is of significant strategic, political, economic, and humanitarian importance to the United States, renews the commitments of the United States to help the people of sub-Saharan Africa to foster democratic rule, to advance civic freedom, and promote market-based economic growth, and to alleviate the burden of poverty and disease that so many in the region continue to face. This is only the first step, Mr. Speaker, into Africa's much needed transition into a global economy. However, this step is the right one as we undertake the long overdue transformation in our own approach toward Africa and our own belief in the African people and in the African continent. With this, I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. Gentlewoman from California.
Mr. Speaker,